What's up, everybody? Murph here, ready for LinkedIn Cringe Part 2. This post is about remote work and going back to the office. Let's check it out. So, this post is by our friend Manny Santos. I haven't connected with him yet, but basically, we're just going to read through this and kind of react to some of the points that he makes here about going back to the office. Manny says, I honestly don't know what's the big deal of going back to a 5-day in office work week. Remote work was used when COVID hit our country, and they wanted it to be safe for everyone and still keep the company and agency running. Manny says, now that things are back to normal or close to normal, I see too many people complaining or fighting against going back to the office. Why? You did it before. You're not being introduced to anything new. That's a good point. We all went to the office before. We all went remote. And so, well, most of us went remote. And so, what's the big deal? It's what we were doing before. Well, let's get into a few reasons why that is a big deal. Uh, you're just going back to the way it was. I understand remote work was really well with workers with children. There's a lot of you know things to unpack right there. It works well with children because you, as the parent, get to see them grow up. You might be able to save yourself thousands of dollars if they're not going to daycare any longer. And you get to raise your children. Obviously, you're spending time working. But if you're in my situation, your wife stays home with the kids, maybe, or they have a part time job, your wife now gets to raise the children. That's an amazing thing. And you get to be there working and taking breaks and seeing them, watching them grow up, having a lunch with them, eating breakfast, lunch, and or dinner with them. That's an amazing thing. So many people before would commute early in the morning before their kids wake up, or maybe rush around and you know, get their kids to gobble up some food, get their kids dressed, get them off to daycare. Big stressful thing. Then they would go to work. Then they would come home from work. Maybe they have to pick up the kids, or maybe they don't get to see their kids. Maybe their kids are already asleep by the time they get home. I used to commute an hour to an hour and a half each way. Hour to work, hour back. I'm getting home at 6:30 every night. Not the end of the world, but I'll tell you one thing: when it's wintertime and it's getting dark at 5, those are long days. So let's keep going. You get to spend more time with your children, but everyone was doing fine before remote working. We're just going back to the office setting. I personally love working in the office. Remote doesn't work for me. Hey, it doesn't work for everybody. Some people just have poor environments at home. Some people would rather have an office and have that separation. It's like, I'm working, I'm at the office, I leave the office, I'm not working. That can't be argued. That is a real thing. Remote work, working at home, makes that harder in some people's lives, for sure. Remote work doesn't work for me. I understood this is not a popular opinion on this matter. I'm just saying it shouldn't be a big deal because everyone had done it before. So, this quote makes me think of this meme that I made, which is, you either return to the office or you do remote work, which most people would like to do. Uh, but regardless, you're spending 8 hours a day on the computer. You're slacking your counterparts, your peers, in the office, or you're slacking them remotely. You're hopping on Teams and Zooms and all of those sort of things while you're in the office. It's not like you go to the office and all of a sudden you get less screen time. So, what's the point of bringing people back to the office if they're just going to be doing the same thing that they're doing? I know obviously a lot of companies have leases and expensive things that they're trying to utilize. They're trying to use the office space that they paid for. I get it. But ultimately, what's the point, right? You're going to be spending time on the. So, yes, everyone had done before. But once we went remote and people started working and figured out how to work remotely, they thought, why would I ever need to go to the office again? I can do my work from my computer right here. I don't have to deal with commuting. I don't have to deal with office drama. I'm saving money. I'm seeing my kids more. I'm have a better work-life balance. There's all sorts of things there that are more beneficial for people to work remotely. Now, I'm not saying I'm for or against the office. There's some things that you need to go in the office for. I completely understand that. But you have to understand that there is so many things that are beneficial to your employees, to your culture, to your efficiency as a business, that working remote enables. So, anyways, what do you think? Do you think Manny has a point? Do you think he just did this for clickbait? This thing, this post has over 1,000 comments, so that's pretty big for LinkedIn. So, what do you think? Going back to the office, going back to working remote, what's better? Let me know in the comments.